all right, whatever. And he went back and he's like, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna go pick up Diplo. And he came back and got me, and he drove me. And then we were like, Chris Rock's agent was there, and he's like, well, can you bring Chris Rock too? He'll tell you some jokes in the back of the truck. So we got him on the back too. And then like my crew was there because we were flying to DC, and we just kind of like, rode for like 30 minutes with him to Burlock.
Tickets are on sale for KFC Radio Live. Click the link in the bio. Get yours. Come out and hang with the boys.
Are we on the Crocs vibe?
Yeah, actually, I wasn't supposed to be, but I just wrapped my shoes on. I have a pair of shoes on. One that's Andy Cohen's show later, and actually when I need to wear nice dress shoes, I didn't have time.
Oh, so what? You're not gonna dress up for us? Fuck, man.
But, honestly, the socks would have been like really high. I just realized the pants are not that cool. Whatever. I didn't really get any.
Whatever, dude.
I didn't really get any PR clothes this week, so I just like dressed myself with the clothes I had left over from like the last 2 weeks.
So wait, when you say PR clothes, what do you mean? Like they'll just send you a bunch of shit?
Yeah, like then you don't have
Just,
to like buy
boxes.
clothes. Yeah, like if you go to events, no, I just send you stuff. They send you a bunch, and then you just like wear what you like and then send it back.
All right, so I'm glad you brought that up because I was just talking to someone about this. I was actually talking to Lawrence, who you've done their podcast, Failing Upwards.
Yeah.
And he gets a ton of shit. Do you feel bad? Do you feel like obligated with all the free shit you get to like post it and be like, thank you? Dude, I feel so bad.
No. Only the brands that I want to.
You're a pussy.
But only the brands that like I want to like have a relationship with that are cool. Or, like, But I mean, remember like when you're still president. Like, remember he was opening all those fucking packages?
Yes.
The unboxing. Yeah.
Bro, how much stuff did he? It was going crazy for a while.
That's true.
It was like that's annoying at that point.
Yeah.
You gotta think of it too. Like, imagine the tables were turned. Like, if you, I don't know, sent.
This one works.
Yeah, this one. Good. Yep. If you sent like our podcast to Joe Rogan and just like, yo, man, like, you mind posting that? I sent it to you for free. You know what I mean? It's like, fuck
that's
you,
fair
dude.
play. Yeah, that's a good
Like,
point.
I'm not
I keep
just gonna
saying
be your billboard, you know. But
if it's a cool brand, and if it's my friend's brand, like last night, a girl I really like, her name's Stod. She's like a fashion designer, so I wore like her outfit to the U.S. Open. Because like, it didn't make her show, and I really like what she made. She did like a collab with Wrangler, so I wore that, and I'll tag her because she's like the homie,
Yeah, that's cool. I think the amount of power or influence, whatever you want to call it, that you have when you reach that point, I think it's cool to kind of give back and
like,
do it that way.
I'm not like a model, but most women, like when you go to say like Cannes Film Festival or something, they're just flown there to walk the red carpet with us. Their whole job is like they get paid to wear one dress, and tag them and leave. They don't even go to the premiere. They just kind of like go to a party and get paid, $20K to wear one dress for one photo and leave. So that's kind of like a whole industry. I get like some Crocs and stuff. I mean, I don't get that much fancy stuff, but if I get it and I like it, I'll wear it and I'll tag
but because you have that vibe about you. Like, I feel like people would be like, oh, if a dude like Diplo wears that, like, it's cool then.
Yeah, there's not that many guys that I feel like are relatable. Yeah. And then, regular people, there's guys that look like crazy, like,
Yes.
Like, I can't wear what Lil Nas X wears out in the streets, but he's like, of course, fashion brands love him, but I'm like kind of like the normal guy. I'm a little edgy. Like, you can see my nipple maybe today. Like,
I caught the nipple a little. Yeah,
it's a little.
Damn, it's a little nipple.
Sometimes I'll pull the nipple out. I'll do a little nipple every once in a while. But, I try to just like be pretty low key and stuff. Yeah.
I mean, I would put you
had the
normal
cowboy
guy,
phase,
by the
though,
way.
right?
I still think the cowboy phase is like always the end game.
Okay.
Like that's the final boss, because no matter how old you get, there's like 3 looks you can really turn into. You can just kind of be like, what was 4? You can be like just dad, like the New Balances, and like kind of just wear like, I don't know, Dockers or whatever. You can be like a meth dealing but like biker kind of guy. Like that's like you got your face tats. Like your like life is like jail and bars and stuff. You can be old. And that's cool as fuck. You can still look like that. Like Post Malone's on that like wave. He's gonna be there eventually. But he also does the cowboy thing, and that's like really cool. You just like wear like the classic stuff, like Carhartt and a cowboy hat. You look like all these country guys that are like hot right now. All just wear. Like,
I was gonna say you're on the country.
Yeah, like that's just like you. It's like it's kind of like the final established way a man can look when they get older. And then what's the 4th one? Oh, just like a suit and tie, like a really fancy guy, like a most interesting
corporate
man, like
shit,
corporate kind of vibe.
Dude, I like the corporate vibe.
Corporate vibe's good, but it's very expensive. Like to actually flex.
Bro,
like,
when
on
someone's
suits
pulling
all
a
the time.
suit off, dude,
Dude, I don't know what it is, but you could be wearing a fucking $20,000 suit or $100 from Men's Warehouse, but you look better in a suit.
Yeah, 100%.
Almost exclusively, like, and obviously the nicer ones look nicer, but every dude, if you just put on a suit and tie, it's like, oh, that looks sharp for some
It's like a
reason.
real
I
glow.
don't know.
But men's fashion hasn't really changed in like 200 years.
Yeah.
Like women's, they do everything. Everything's so crazy. Men, we always wear like suit and tie. Like that's like if you go to like Armani or a fashion show, they don't really change much. The lapel changed a little bit, but it's been like 100 years, like last time fashion was weird was like George Washington was wearing like coattails.
Yeah.
And, like, these kind of things.
Have you ever seen pictures of like old time baseball stadiums?
Like with like
the fans,
yeah, like
all
the
men in
dresses,
fucking
suit, all the way to
suits
the
and
top,
hats.
yeah.
Like imagine like going to the ball game.
Elegance. That's it.
That's-
As they're screaming the N-word at the players.
Yeah, they're just like pieces of
Jackie
shit. Robinson.
Robinson, get him out of here. He
But I
looks
had-
sharp though.
But I know style.
But like people used to go out. I mean, people used to go to airports with suits. Like
Bro, when I'm in an
Now-
airport, who was I with? Oh, I was with Jackie. And Jackie, our producer, we had to go. We went down to Louisiana, and we were talking about like she was talking about how like you're on TikTok, and you're like, God, everyone's fucking hot. But then if you just hang out in a place where there's a lot of people, you're like, oh, everyone's
Yeah.
disgusting
Yeah,
looking.
Everyone's hot on the internet. Dude.
my like
in
most,
real life,
my
bro.
like most popular TikTok series for a while was just called Airport Creatures. I just like sneak videos of
No
everybody,
way.
like make a story about who they are. Like
That's
this guy
amazing.
invested in Dogecoin, whatever it is, like something
Yeah,
like
yeah.
this is a hedge fund, and this is a rich, whatever it is. I just kind of like make fun of people. And
That's
people, like,
fucking
people,
great.
like
I like
sometimes
that.
people like see me and they're like, Diplo, tag me, make a video of me or something. But
People start coming up to you barefoot, like disgusting,
yeah.
right?
Like, if you like make up something like, oh, this guy just left Burning Man, or like whatever it is, you just like make up a story about who this person was. And that was,
Yo,
like,
speaking
super
of,
popular.
you had a ride, literally and figuratively, at Burning Man, huh?
We did, yeah. It was probably like, you do, even when you make music, you just always make a bunch of tracks. But when you just do some newsworthy stuff, so it might be like I could like rescue some orphans or something, or like whatever it is. But just like leaving Burning Man was like my biggest news story of
I'm
the last
sure.
10
Yeah.
years. So
Dude, moments like that make me be like, why do I even fucking try? You
yeah,
know,
like
it's
it's
you get 1/10 the traction you get when you pour your heart and soul into
I know.
something.
I do so much like try to like make some emotional
Yup.
posts or like just try
Nobody cares.
whatever it is and like I don't know, go to some crazy place and visit and then just like I leave Burning Man. It's like it's the best of big
well,
stories.
you escaped Ebola.
I
mean-
did. Apparently I got it too, and I was ground zero, one of the memes, and I left, and like the government was looking for me.
No
Like, there was like
fucking
one
way.
post people sent me like it was confirmed Diplo was at ground zero and he escaped the gate or whatever, and I was like, but
So
the-
when
Yo,
you're in something like that, I've obviously never been in a situation where like the whole world thinks I'm like part of some conspiracy. Are you annoyed or are you like this is hilarious?
I thought it was so funny because it was happening in real time. We were still like trying to get out like, while the story was happening and stuff. But the craziest part is like it wasn't just me and Chris Rock. It was like Cindy Crawford was with us, Randy Gerber, Austin Butler, the guy who produced White Lotus.
No way.
It was so many other like people like the celebrities that were just trying to get out to like
Yeah.
see their kids and
They
stuff.
They
were
were in
all
the
like
car with
hiking
you?
and
They all
hitchhiking?
walked with us. We all decided together. We were,
Oh,
like,
no
their
shit.
camp was like
Yo.
they had a really big kind of celebrity camp next to me, and we all like bossed up. Honestly, Carly Kloss is the one who's like
We're going?
she was like she was like military like we're waking up at 7, we're gonna hike, and then she's like we'll wake up at 10, we'll do later. But she was like the one that
Yo.
motivated everybody. Like,
If,
she was the
if
one.
it's not, I don't know, like Wes Anderson or somebody needs to make a movie of this. Like the like
Trapped to death.
yeah, like 10 celebrities trying to get out of Burning Man, and they have their own existential journey on the way. That's wild though. That's a lot of names, man.
It's gonna be definitely a big bit in the Chris Rock event. So
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
he had a lot of
Sure.
content because he did not want to be there. I felt like, and we had dinner the night before, and he was like.
He does not seem to me like a Burning Man kind of guy. I
I'd
would
be
not
surprised.
have,
Like one of the biggest Burning Man guys is like Puff Daddy.
Really?
Like, he's like 14 years going.
he's all on his love wave
yeah,
though.
he
He's
always
very,
loves like the higher vibration. He's like really one of
Yeah.
the biggest. Him and Paris Hilton are the two like biggest burners I know.
No
You
shit.
would never know that. Like they love it. They go there every year and they rip. They're like.
What goes on? I just learned. I always thought it was a music festival. What goes on at Burning Man? Like
The music is very secondary. Like I DJ probably like 6-7 times, like just different art cars, and it's hard to explain. It's like
But wait, is there like a stage and speakers like set up like you would be on tour, or it's
there's
like small?
There's like 6 or 7 camps that make little stages, but
Okay.
it's really like you build a camp, like you get a little plot of land, like it's this one semicircle that's like we have the roads are like clock numbers, so like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and the streets are EFG. So you get like a little whatever size you need, you kind of rent that and you make a camp. And the ones that are on the outside, this side's have like the sound camp, so the music goes there, and then on the outside of that is like called the playa, and that's just like anything goes. People just driving around these art cars playing music, and it's like the best way to explain it is like you go to Circuit City and you turn everything on at once. And you walk around the store, right? That's kind of what it feels like. You like it's dark and there's lights everywhere and there's dusk and there's just no light pollution. You just feel like you're in the middle of this like dry lake bed. But you have a little camp and you organize it. Very few of them are sound camps, but that's the ones you hear about because that's like the parties.
Yeah.
Some people just do like Dr. Bronner, the soap
Yeah,
company?
yeah.
he has a camp and you just go there and do like a shower. Like it's a big tub. Everybody just goes there and gets naked and just washes themselves. And you have to like, it's a big line to get into that. There's like
Everyone wants to get naked with Dr. Bronner.
There's like full yoga camps. There's like TED Talks. People are just like doing speeches. There's like so much.
And you buy tickets to this?
You have to buy a ticket. There's like 80,000 tickets they give up, and then you buy the tickets. Not expensive, like $500, but sometimes it runs out. This year it didn't run out, and then you have to resell them. But then you buy the tickets and you enter your camp because the camp kind of provides everything for you. You have to have food.
That's random.
You have to. You can't just. Some people go and like just bring a tent, and it's like kind of a rough life. Like those are the ones who really suffered, I guess, during this rainstorm. But you have a camp and they have everything. They have the toilets. They like you kind of like organize it together with a crew of like-minded people, and then you just kind of make everything yourself. You make a little village, a little camp for the week.
And how in the mix are you with these little camps? Are you?
I just have a lot of friends, and I just did like I just kind of hooked up with some friends that were there, and I was like, hey, I'm only coming for 3 days. Can I get a shift pod? And stayed with them, and they had great food and. I had like my e-bike. Someone brought it there from my house in Malibu, and I just had that in my backpack. So it was pretty
just cruising around.
What kind of drugs are we doing?
Well, there's a lot of drugs. I think MDMA, LSD. It's very psychedelic.
It's a big psychedelic one.
You actually can't smoke weed there.
Really?
I mean, some of those drugs aren't really controlled, but it's Nevada. It's like BLM, Bureau of Land Management, and so marijuana is like federally illegal.
No shit.
So that's the one thing people get caught all the time. Is if a cops, there's a lot of cops everywhere. It's not like that
lawlessness
because it's really safe. Like, I mean, it's a huge festival. People do like pass away. Some people like maybe want to go there and die. Like old people. Like, some people. First year I went, someone ran into the fire that the burning man was burning,
shit.
and just like I want to. That's like.
And he died.
Yeah, it died. Like
How
every year,
did that affect the vibe?
Nah,
Bro,
was,
my man.
for him, yeah, I think it was like that vibe was kind of sucked.
Everyone's like, that dude fucking rocks, man.
Honestly,
I mean, that is a
do.
pretty metal move. Like,
probably do, but
my man said it's really, really safe, and then followed it up with some man just ran into the fire and
Well,
died.
I've been to a lot of parties with
That's
fires
true.
that I
Yeah.
considered safe.
That
No
is
one jumped
true.
in it.
But if anybody,
That's his fault. Yeah, you're right.
The guy was on a quest. Like that was his like. He wanted to
yeah.
do that. I mean, that's like what he did. But I mean, any big festival, you're gonna have some like injuries, some fatalities. It's like it sucks, but like it's like a huge festival. I think
You get that
EDC,
many people
whatever.
together.
Yeah,
and,
there's
like,
gonna be
anything.
something. So hopefully people get safe, and someone could fall off. Even stage diving.
Yeah,
you could
yeah.
fall off and hit your head and
I
have a
almost did it.
concussion or have anything can happen. But people at Burning Man really help each other. Like that's kind of what happened to me when I left. I had no people. A guy saw me, gave me a ride. It's like it's probably the most friendliest group of people at a community.
Did they know who you were when they picked you up?
The guy that picked me up dead.
Yeah.
That's like the one place where I'm like more famous than like some of the actors.
Yeah,
All of the
I could
guys-
see you being very
like the-
popular. That,
like
But
the
like,
DJ
they
world.
picked you up strangers and were like, oh shit, that's Diplo, or they picked up Diplo?
They were like, the guy was like, oh, he was I was walking and he had to stop because his car was hot and he was like, oh, is that Diplo? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, I was like, can I get a ride with you? He's like, I'm about to go back and get my friend. I'm like, all right, whatever. And he went back and he's like, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna go pick up Diplo. And he came back and got
fuck
me.
that,
And he
man.
drove me and then we were like. Chris Rock's agent was there, and he's like, "Well, can you bring Chris Rock too? He'll tell you some jokes in the back of the truck." So we got him on the back too, and then like my crew was there because we were flying to DC, and we just kind of like, rode for like 30 minutes with him to Murloc.
You're so right. I can just see Chris Rock now being like, I was in the back of the pickup truck with Diplo, like just doing that.
It was so
cadence
funny
and
because
that.
we had like a really, I'll be honest, we had like a really fancy camp, and like the night it was like this torrential rainstorm, like everybody's like, the apocalypse is coming. We're like in this kind of like really fancy like.
You're like, we're good.
We're like Chris Rock was like.
But so wait, is it like? It's like makeshift like home, like it's full shelter, or are we talking like
This camp I was in was like really like fancy, like it was like we were in like a Nobu. It was like someone made the room we were in out of wood, had like air conditioning and a chef and stuff.
No way.
Chris Rock was just like, if the people outside
They
knew what we were doing, there'd be like a run on us right now. And we're like,
Right,
"Nah,
right.
just everybody's in the
I was
camp."
gonna say,
chilling.
was there ever a little bit of like
Nah.
some fucking Walking Dead type shit where people realize?
Nah. we
You
did
know.
try to venture out like in the middle of the night and like just going like 40 feet took like 45 minutes because it was like you walking when it was really raining. You walking like your foot sunk down like 1 foot in the mud, and picking it up was like you have like 2 pounds of mud on your foot, and it was like
I would not.
Dude,
venture
it was
out
very
of that at all.
difficult. In the morning it was a lot better, but in the night during it was like when you couldn't move. You just gotta like stay shelter in place like it was a hurricane or something.
I did that once. I went for a walk with my friends. We went snowshoeing, but I didn't have snowshoes. So like if my foot kept going like a
It's the
foot
exact
in.
same physics, and you have to like kind of walk on your knees because like you can't. If you walk straight, you just slide.
Yep.
And you're falling. You're just like making a mud angel, and it's like that's the worst because there's no showers either, so you just kind of like
Except for Dr.
muddy.
Bonner.
Yeah, we just stand in the rain. The mud will eventually wash you off, but
Man, that is that experience you just described is so far from anything I've ever done in my life. Like I can't even.
I brought a lot of people though to Burning Man. They're like, I'll never do that. I'll never do that. Like 3 people I brought were like, okay. After one night there, you're like, I get it. Like this feels like so.
How did it start?
Free. I don't know. It's probably 25 years old. I don't want to give the wrong information, but a couple people.
That's young. That's
It's not that old. Maybe 30, but something
Yeah.
like that. People just started it. I guess they did some organization with the Nevada land, and they were like, this is a perfect place to do it because you can just kind of move around. There's no rocks. It's just like one perfectly flat area. Like that's why it's there in that area called Black Rock. And then they just said, let's have like a really free, very hippie, just Bay Area guys. They just went over there. And I met some of the owners of Burning Man, the guys who like created it, and they're really cool. I think there's a lot of ownership changing the last couple of years, but like there's always been a really great ethos of like freedom of expression and radical inclusivity and like also radical self-reliance. Like you got to go with your stuff and make sure everything's out with you. That's the main thing. When I was leaving, there was another car passed me. I was walking out, and she's like, I had a backpack on. She's like, she rolls the window down. Where's all your stuff at? And I was like, that's all I have. Like I literally, my friend's gonna. She was like, I don't believe you. Like it was they really want to make sure you got everything out of there. Like that's the main rule of Burning Man. If you brought anything there, you take everything out. So some people are mad at me that I left with like just a backpack. They don't believe that that's all I had. But I really just had a backpack.
I'm one of the rich guys. I don't have to bring my shit, bro.
I didn't have to bring like a bunch of like bacon to cook or whatever.
Yeah.
So I did have
We
some
got the
food.
chef.
I get that though, that your friend, like people you bring are like, this is actually. Like, I think anywhere you go where people are having fun is fun.
Yeah.
Like it is, be it Burning
Yeah,
Man or like.
I wouldn't say that Burning Man is like my style by any means, but if I like
You'll find
got
something
to
you'll
go,
love there.
and
You'll
also
find.
if I got to go with them,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like,
I got you.
It's like oh, this is not my favorite sport, but you're sitting front row. It's like it's still
Yeah.
fucking awesome.
There really
you know?
is something for everybody there, but I mean, even like Stagecoach. Have you guys been to that festival?
No, I've
So-
never been to many festivals.
So like people in LA, I'll go to Coachella, and I started playing Stagecoach the last couple of years doing
Right.
country stuff, and I brought all my friends that were like a little older, like my age, and they're going to Coachella, and they're just kind of fed up with like same thing, and then. I was like, going to Stagecoach. They don't even like country music, and every year they're like dressed in the fucking
Yeah.
with their hats on, and like they're like all
That you know what it is? That's easier to dress up and
Yeah.
dive into the culture. Like
Yeah.
like I'll go get some cowboy boots and a hat.
Yeah.
When it's like when it was the peak of like EDC and all that movement, I remember I went to I think maybe it was Electric Zoo. I don't know, whatever one was in Queens.
Yeah, it's Electric Zoo.
And,
Randall's
and
Island.
I like tried to dress up for that, and I was
Had a
like
tutu on, and, like,
no, but that's what I mean. I couldn't. It was just like
Yeah.
I put on like a pink shirt, right? You know,
Yeah.
and it's like this is all I've got. But because I wouldn't even know where to begin for something like that. But like a defined thing of like
Yeah.
cowboy vibe.
For sure,
know
country cosplay is a lot easier.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Just jump
that's
into
what I'm
it.
looking
If you
for.
really want to do like rave, I don't even dress like a rave. It's really hard. I
You
mean,
gotta dress
like,
like a fucking astronaut or something. Like, I don't know.
I don't think,
Yeah.
but house music, electronic music is so commercial now. Like even EDC, they do kind of like go out and really do the thing, but mostly it's people just dress like this. They go out there and
Yeah.
just even
Just-
have like a
it's just, like,
Camelback
trying to be cool,
and
whatever.
just drinking, taking some Molly, getting drinking and just
Yeah.
like having
What,
the best time.
what do you when did ecstasy disappear and Molly become the thing?
I actually don't know the difference. I'm
Me
really
neither.
confused.
Is there a difference?
I do know that
Because
like
growing up, I heard
I
ecstasy.
think ecstasy is pressed
XE.
pills. I think, and it's like kind of
Okay.
a mix. Someone could tell me. I don't really know. I
I
know
think
that,
you're right.
but
And
MDMA.
MDMA is
But
not,
MDMA is like, I also don't want to mess this up, but MDMA is like something that is even prescribed for people. But
Right.
MDA, the second M is actually methamphetamine.
That's where you
So
get a little
MDMA,
dicey.
yeah, like when you get that in there, it does kind of give you like, it's like that's why it's like not just euphoric,
Party
like
drug,
energy.
yeah.
you know,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
So I think that's kind of dangerous too if you're taking like the meth.
A little bit of meth
aspect.
is always.
Then you have to like drink water. It's like that's why it's sometimes
Yeah.
unsafe to do. some of those
That was what
pills.
was funny at Electric Zoo. I'm not like a big drug guy, so I was drinking, and I was at like the Bud Light fucking tent.
Yeah.
Nobody there. Like, and I'm like, if you go to Citi Field for a baseball game,
Yeah.
the beer line is fucking 200
Nah,
people long.
Stagecoach is beer.
Yeah.
Everywhere. It's like my favorite thing.
Yeah.
I just love drinking beer, walking around. It's like it's a
Yeah,
good
that
vibe.
sounds fun.
Not a lot of ecstasy at Stagecoach yet.
Yeah.
Maybe next.
Yeah, is the
Maybe
admirable
next.
word.
Yeah, we're working on it.
Heartbroken's coming out soon.
Yeah, so yeah. I'm kind of like the dance tent. I do like a honky tonk, and there's maybe a little MDMA. The line dancing guys. They got a lot of energy. It might
Get
be
the
a
hips
little-
going and
Yeah.
shit. Yeah.
For
If you
sure,
could
like, the
drop
meth part.
MDMA into any event,
Ooh, that's a great question.
what would it be? If you could be like bring an MDMA feel to any event. Because I'll be honest, I'm just asking that because while we're talking about all the different festivals and
Man,
stuff, where
Super Bowl?
you could have fun. I was thinking of January 6th. I was like,
That would be. Those guys are really when they hit that real high and they enter that Nancy Pelosi's office.
Yo.
They get that. They peak.
Dude with the fucking hat on.
a lot more
Yeah.
shits on the desk.
Yeah, they're like, oh my God, we took over the country.
It's like I was like, you like dress up. Oh yeah, I could dress up in January.
Yeah.
Like I could have a fucking good time with the boys.
January 6th, yeah. I don't know. NBA, there's probably any event would probably be pretty weird.
Any event
Yeah.
pretty
Dude,
solid.
yeah, like
family
I
Christmas.
go to conclave with the popes, man.
Yeah,
Get
dude.
nuts with it.
You made all the Cardinals take MDMA. That'd be
That
fucking
would
sick.
a whole bunch of priests and bishops and shit tripping would be awesome.
Well, actually, this is funny you said this because there's a book
They
called
rape everybody.
The Immortality Key. And it's a book about, they think that the Bible was written by people who were on LSD. There's a drug that's actually made out of barley, and the guy who I took the plane with to like at a Burning Man wrote the book.
Really?
And he was explaining to me the whole time. So it actually, it's a really big book. He was giving speeches at Burning Man. It's a really famous book now that kind of even like the church looks into it. They think that some of the stories told in the Bible were on like mushroom psychedelics.
It makes
when
a
they were
lot of
written,
sense,
so,
right?
plug his
Lot of
book.
sense.
You're like that dude was walking on water, like fucking right.
But like like the burning bush.
Burning
maybe
Bu-
it was
I was
like
gonna
you're
say
like
Burning Man.
maybe it was on maybe not MDMA. I don't think they had it back then, but there is something that one of the root elements of LSD is also in natural. It's like part of a barley. Like when you ferment barley, it kind of does this one thing. I can't tell the story very well, but read the book.
Yeah. interesting.
Immortality Key.
Immortality Key. Yeah,
I like that.
yeah. So there's been a lot, but people have been doing psychedelics forever. I mean,
Yeah.
when you think about like, have you guys ever done ayahuasca?
No.
You guys should do it. Do the show.
Yeah.
The thing I can't get past, everyone tells like the story and the experience they went through, and they all just kind of yada yada through the violent puking
Yeah,
and
some
shitting
puking
and
and
stuff,
pooping.
and I'm like, that does not sound great to me, bro. Like the end part has to
Yeah.
be really fucking awesome for the beginning part of violent shitting and puking.
I don't know, man. I drink like 10 beers and I do that.
There is like resolution at the end of ayahuasca. It's always different for other people, but I think like the one thing people always say, it's like an ego death. So no matter what you do, like you finish, like you're like, damn, I feel really like I can make new challenges. Like I feel like I'm not that special. It humbles you in a really good way. And I think a lot of like celeb types and like, you know, hedge fund guys, they need that
See, we
constantly.
don't need that, bro.
You guys,
We're the
you guys
opposite.
are already.
We're at rock bottom, dude. We need something that brings it up a little bit. Look
remember
around.
Remember when you were 1 foot deep at that trench?
Yeah.
That's like where
You're in the
I
trenches.
That's
Yes.
baseline,
Yeah,
dude.
that's good. So you guys are already on that high.
I don't
forever.
need to
You're
be
talking to a
humbled.
man who has had trench mouth. Everyone's over there complaining about trench
mouth.
foot.
That was trench foot.
I've had trench mouth. That's not a joke.
Dude. Look, his mouth turned gray one day. It was
How'd you
like
get it?
rotting.
Dude, I went to
Is
the
that
dentist.
foot and mouth disease? Same thing? Is that
No.
I went to the dentist and I woke up, I was like bleeding and like all gray, and I was like, dude, what is this? And he was like, you have trench mouth. And I was like, that makes me think of like the trenches in World War II. And he's like, that's exactly where it's from. And I was like, well, how the fuck did I get it? And he said, you got it from stress. And I was like, I have to imagine I'm not as stressed as the guys were fighting chemical warfare. And he's like, I would imagine your baseline is a little different than theirs, but you're experiencing it.
So how'd you get to pills or something?
I took like an antibiotic. Like,
Your breath was probably kicking.
dude,
Really.
it wasn't great. It wasn't great.
That was a bad week for you. With women.
Yeah, I didn't come to work that week.
You just mentioned before house music and all that shit going mainstream. I think is the
Yeah.
word you used. Is that like weird when like it's almost like a band getting put on, but a whole like genre, you know, where it's like, hey, I liked them before they were big, but a
Yeah.
whole fucking
I think
type of music.
that didn't happen with dance music because I think dance music's been around forever. I mean, it started in Chicago, Detroit, in America, like from disco 70s to house, everything. It kind of skipped America though and went straight to Europe.
Yeah.
So then it like turned into many different genres, techno, and it just kind of like when I go to Europe, they just have this really long history with dance music that kind of came back to America when you probably went to Randall's
Yeah.
Island with Avicii and Swedish House Mafia.
Yeah.
It was really bright and big. It missed all like the cool things that it did for 20 years.
Yeah.
So it kind of came back like that with Avicii and them like 10, 15 years ago. But it wasn't a bad thing. Like it was like great. Everybody started
Yeah.
going to dance parties, and I think the last 10 years we kind of acclimated to like all the cool stuff. So now when you go out, like I think Tale of Us was playing at Brooklyn Mirage this weekend. Super like heavy techno from Italy. Like everything's big in America now. Like and it's all
Yeah.
cool stuff. Like there's like young black DJs from Detroit that are doing like really Detroit techno music that are also touring all over America. And I think now America just kind of is back to being, everybody's kind of into it. Young people, like if you go to a college party right now, they're playing like Zach Bryan and Deep House. That's like all the young people listen to. So it's like, it's good for everybody. It's like it's like good music again. So it's not a bad thing.
Yeah, I mean, there was that probably like 2010, 11, 12, 13, whatever, where it was like everything was a collab with one of you guys, right? Guetta and Calvin Harris,
Akon,
and you.
Chris Brown all had house records. Yeah.
But that was some great fucking records there.
They were good, but the lyrics kind of like peaked at like in the club, hands up. It was like really like it was hard to tell. But like when you hear like Without You, that's the Usher song. Without, like those records are great. Or Titanium with Sia, like they were like epic epic records, and it really American radio needed those like hooks to be like, oh, this is dance music, and then you go, it was like the discovery drug. Like you get like a big pop record, and then you go to like a rave, and you're like, oh, what's this tent? Oh, what's it? They go, what kind of music is this? And you start like exploring a little more. It's like it was the gateway drug.
Yeah,
like those big records.
Yeah.
Then you get into it, and like now it's kind of like when I played, like you go to EDC, they have like 40 stages. Like there's music everywhere. All kinds of music's happening. Like you know, even like hip hop's. There's just so much crossover now in cool ways. People are really, the fans are really like pushing DJs into like doing interesting things, and I think it's getting bigger every day, and it's not a bad thing, not in a bad way.
What part of like a supplier do you consider yourself as, like, if it's a gateway drug? Because like I mean I bet you.
I'm like the distributor and the dealer too, because I have a record label, so I put out other people's records, and I like find other artists, and we put it out on my label. It's called The Higher Ground. It's like we do different house records and do different parties. So we facilitate. If you want to come to the party, we do one. We're doing like we're doing one in Brooklyn, here in Brooklyn Mirage, like October 12th, 2 of them. So that's like about to announce it tomorrow, like all the whole lineup. But we did Seattle. We do a bunch of it everywhere. Like we do parties everywhere, and then we bring a lot of new young DJs and I make a lot of music too. But you know.
Yeah. What is I've always been kind of confused between like, what's the difference of like being a producer versus a DJ versus like when it's your track.
Yeah.
You are like, you make that beat.
Yeah.
But then there's DJs who are just like DJing, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like, is it always like an original track, or sometimes is it?
No, when I play music, I'll play like everything. You know, like I'll play. I'll play like 10% will be the records that I make, because I think those fans want to hear that. But when I go to Vegas and I'm playing 3 hours, I'm playing like.
No, of course, but
big records and.
I'm saying like someone like DJ Khaled.
Yeah.
At one point was like just spinning records and DJing parties, then kind of becomes like a producer. And then, like, are they making those songs, or is it like
Khaled
I'm kind of
maybe
just
like an anomaly? Yeah. I don't understand it at all. Even as like a producer,
he confuses me.
He's a good friend. I know he has a lot of producers. He makes a lot of music. He has like big records. Every rapper has to be on his album. He always debuts like really high. His marketing is always so crazy and weird. And it's like he's just so funny, and you know, it's like he's like almost a comedian. When you watch his like Snapchat, you watch his Instagram.
Yeah, totally.
But I'm not sure he's like really a producer. I think he's more like an A&R. He like someone that connects everybody. And is like, oh, this record's great. Put this guy on the record. Put that guy on the record. But he kind of facilitated himself to become everything. The artist, the DJ. You're always going to hear him play All I Do Is Win.
Yeah.
You know, whenever he plays it. And he's a great. I play with him all the time, like, you know, big events, and he has the big hits. You know.
Totally.
But when it comes to like young guys like me and producers, not that I'm a young guy, but there's a lot of young producers and DJs, and they're all making their own music now. Guys like John Summit, Dom Dollar, like they're really good producers, like what Guetta was doing, you know, 20 years ago, making his music. But not all of them have to make music. Some of them are just selectors. Like they just like to go out and play records. You know, like they're like,
so
which is crazy.
They're just DJs, yeah.
Like everyone's got like their friend who like don't let him touch the fucking phone. It's gonna suck. Like
There's always these memes like when you come home for Thanksgiving and it's like, oh, how's your DJ career? Like the grandma's like there, the son just arrives. He's like a producer or whatever. It's kind of embarrassing.
But like your new record, Heartbroken. How does that come about? You pick those people. Does the label like
that record? So they got. In the middle of all this, doesn't make that much sense. I'm doing a lot of like dance music and like Burning Man, but I have a country project that's called like Thomas Wesley, and the last single is Heartbroken. So we had this record. Amy Allen wrote it, and Ilse Juber. They're like two songwriters that I really like.
Amy Allen's fire.
She's really good.
I saw
Amy
Allen like here at Mercury Lounge or something like that. Like,
she's awesome.
That's where I like a friend took
hits.
me. She's awesome.
So I know she writes great records, and I love Ilse Juber. I've written with her for like Beyonce. I'm also a writer, so like I'll make some music on some chords, and someone will sing on it. And we had this song. It was called Heartbroken, and we asked Jessie Murph to sing it because she's like a really cool young artist. And then Ron Perry, who runs Columbia, is like, let's get a rapper on it so we can kind of like just hit all the marks. It'll go to Polo G's fans, country fans, and it was kind of perfect collab. And we just put them all together, had her sing it. She did some tweaks, did a little writing, and so there's probably 7 people all together writing the record, and then it's my art. It's my record. Like it's like Diplo's record with Jesse Murph and Polo G, and that's kind of just with a major label. They kind of put it all together like a little math equation.
Is that what you like? I remember I mentioned Failing Up earlier, and when you were on Failing Up, you talked about how like you actually don't really like producing. You said you prefer
I hate this. I hate like it's like more like sound design. It's kind of like what your producer's doing. You know, like when your show's done, you guys walk away. Yeah. Someone's got to put it all together. That's like the part I hate. Like I have to do that. I have to make the music and then sit in the computer and like make it sound good and engineer it, EQ it, and stuff like that. That's like what I do everything. So is the lamest part. It's
that's like the busy work.
It makes you like, I hate being a producer, you know, like that part. But sometimes you can have fun and make some really crazy music. I mean, someone like Skrillex is like a Mozart of like Ableton. You know, he just makes things that you've never heard, or like Fred again. You've seen his like videos of him playing with like MPCs and stuff. Some guys are just like savants when it comes to like the production side. I'm more like into like editing the drums and playing a little guitar and like finding a good song. Yeah. But it does take a lot of time to make it. The final product is way different than what you hear. What you hear is just like maybe a guitar and me humming or something, and then the final project is like 45 versions later. So it takes a while to get it good.
You also mentioned in that one, like, I think in that same sentence, you were talking about how you prefer, like, I don't remember who it was you got in a room with, but like, I love getting in a room and like we write like 20 songs in 20 hours. Have you ever had like a session like that where you come out and you're like, you put out, you know, the 20 songs you wrote, whatever, and one song pops off and you're like, wait, that's the one you like? Yeah. That's not, no, this is the good one.
It happens all the time.
Really?
I mean, even the country album, I did a record that I really loved with Sturgill Simpson and Dove Cameron. We like just loved the record so much, and it came out and it didn't really go anywhere.
That's crazy.
It's like, wow, but you just never know. You just roll the dice when it comes to TikTok and what happens, like what people like. People just gravitate towards something. It might be a meme, it might be, you know, it could be someone sings it at a soccer. It doesn't. You don't even know. It literally, you can't control it. You used to be able to control. Like the labels really had some kind of like, we're gonna put all this money here, but now really like they just put out records and hope that something good happens.
Do you resent that?
Nah, because that's just the business, you know. Yeah. Like some records I don't even like. We had this record called On My Mind. It was like a house record, but like some guy did a dance to it, and it became went viral. There's a record called Harlem Shake. Do you guys remember this record?
Yeah, of course.
So that was on my label, and that was like. This guy was like the pink guy. It was like he was frozen and he started doing the dance, and then next thing you know, Hillary Clinton does the dance. Like, like Today's Show. So that song was about an artist named Bauer, and actually Joji is the pink guy. The artist named Joji was like actually a meme guy back in the day on YouTube, and the record came out and this thing happened. It went viral, and it was the first #1 on Billboard as an instrumental record ever. Wow. They started counting YouTube views back then, so everything changes. And as a producer, it's just my job to like move with it and. You can't be mad, bro. Yeah. If you're mad, that you sound like an old ass hater. You know what I'm saying? You just gotta keep
still
like
moving. Gotta be sometimes like, this isn't the good song. You
in private, I'm like, I'm like, fuck these little kids and this fucking algorithm. I do that, but not in like an interview. I'll be like, I love it all. Yeah.
You're writing a song. You're like, I know Blippy's gonna shit on his friend over this one.
Did you see that? You know that guy Blippy?
No, it was Blippy.
Blippy sounds like he could be a fucking DJ too. Yeah. No, Blippy is a children's like YouTuber, and like my kids watch him. He's like, he wears like a hat with a little propeller and suspenders. And he's like, kids, today we're going to go to the museum and we're going to look at dinosaurs.
Like Blue's Clues kind of
thing.
Okay.
Yes. Prior to that, though, because he just got a gig as like an actor. Prior to that, he was kind of trying to be like an internet fucking shock value videos. So, you know, the whole vibe of like when the beat drops on Do the Harlem Shake, the room changes or whatever. So it was like him and his friend were like dancing. And then when the beat drops, his buddy is fucking laying down on his back with like his legs over his head, and he shits onto his buddy, like explosive diarrhea. He basically like diarrheas into another person's ass.
It just got found, or like, it's been around for a while. Or
I knew about it when it first happened, and then like it was like, wait, that guy became Blippy.
And then he became a kid's fucking guy. What was his name? It was like he had like some stupid name.
Dude, I'll say this.
I gotta look.
It's fucking funny.
Cut to that.
It's fucking funny, dude.
I mean, it's incredible accuracy. What it is.
The poop is a solid poop, and
it's not. It's like it's just like a fountain that like he hits his mark. I mean, he was trying to shit into a guy's ass, and he did it. It's fucking crazy.
You're not gonna watch it twice, but when you watch it, you're gonna laugh.
I actually never watched Two Girls One Cup either.
You know what? That one
I never got it. I never watched it. And I'm happy.
That is. That's child's
Like you can
play,
skip
bro.
that. You can miss that.
Yeah,
Right?
and to me,
I remember my friend's sister making me watch it, and I was really gagging the whole time. But I'm happy I watched it. Like
You got through it.
I've been through war, man. You know,
yeah.
like the.
I feel like I have to watch everything.
Yeah.
Like,
When we were kids, I remember the Faces of Death.
Hell yeah,
VHS.
bro.
People were
Hell
trading on the
yeah.
back market, like in schools, like,
Dude.
like, yo, got the new number
all that shit,
44.
Faces of
gotta get
Death and E-Bombs World,
Rotten.com.
E-Fuck, Rotten.com.
Rotten.com,
Like that,
yeah.
that bread, for better or worse, that's like why that generation, why we are the way we are.
Yeah, it's kind of.
Because that was back, your parents were probably like, what's the internet?
Yeah.
Oh, you're like looking at pictures? Okay. It's like, yeah, but they're pictures of people with their faces ripped off. You know? I just watched a little girl got hit by a train, Mom. Shit,
Tommy sent it over.
Yeah.
Said if I don't watch, he's not gonna pick me first at gym tomorrow.
It's really different because back in the day, you had like there was always like an abandoned house that had like a penthouse magazine in it or whatever. That was the only
Yeah.
time you saw
Okay.
something
So
weird.
wait a minute.
Then the internet
So
happened. and
you
it was,
had an abandoned house that you watched? You looked at your porn?
there was always my grandpa lived in this like place like in Georgia. And I remember there was like always this abandoned house that was in the neighborhood. We always like went over our bikes to it and we're like, there's always a porno in this.
So
house.
what we've found in talking to everybody we've ever talked to is you either come from a town that has a weird communal porn thing,
Yeah.
or like you don't. Because like I grew up outside of Philly for a little bit, and we used to ride our bikes to the woods to look at. There was a big box of porno. And I'll tell that story, and one guy goes like, "Yo, dude, me
It's
and
crazy.
my town too." But he was like, "What the fuck are you guys talking about?" Because if you don't have that, you're like, you had a box of porn in
Yeah.
the woods. But everybody who did experience it's like, yeah, it's the box of
It
box of
is.
porn in the woods. Like, what do you mean?
It's weird, but I think it's like our age because we just didn't have any access to
Yeah.
information. Like it was
Yep.
like literally you couldn't go buy it unless you had like a weird bodega or something that would sell
Right.
you it. But yeah,
That-
porn on paper was like a thing. Back in
Porn
the
on
day.
paper sounds like that's a good album name.
Yeah.
Right there, or a single.
We had one magazine at hockey camp that we like literally like got about a movie like pass under fucking bathroom stalls and stuff. It was
That's gross.
it
Yeah,
was
it's
not
pretty nasty.
it was not nice.
Probably the pages were real hard.
Dude, one had a
Yeah.
fucking target on it.
Yeah.
One I
Yeah.
swear to
And
God.
you guys were just sharing it.
Just
This is before wet wipes
bro,
and stuff. This is-
bro, we'd share it and then we'd pay each other $5 to put icy hot on our balls. Don't let guys hang out together. It's crazy that you just like let us hang out together in groups.
What's icy hot in the balls do?
It fucking hurts, bro.
Tortures you.
It's incredibly painful. I asked earlier, like, do you resent about people liking the wrong song, or do you have a song where you're like out and you're like, I don't want to do this fucking song again, and then you're like, I got to, because you're talking about like playing the big tracks for him and stuff like that, but where you're
I
like,
mean, there's always. I started as like a songwriter. I didn't just become like a famous DJ. So I moved to LA and I was like just in sessions with whoever. Like I was like, they put me in a room like just write a record, just make something happen. You know. One of the guys was Bruno Mars back in the day. He was not even a poppin' guy, but he was one of my first sessions, and I was just like, this guy's really fucking good. Like he was writing for Flow Rider back then, like writing the raps.
Bruno Mars used to write for Flow Rider?
He did the raps for Right
He's-
Round
he's
Baby, Right
crazy.
Round.
No
talent.
way,
Yeah.
dude.
And I was like, this guy's way. And I ended up having an album cut on his record called Liquor Store Blues. That was like probably one of the first records I like wrote with somebody.
Yeah.
And then so I've done lots of stuff, like little bits and pieces here and there. Like, I've never been like, I wish I didn't do that. I've never had like a moment where I'm like, I've always been kind of proud of what I've done, like all the music I've made.
So you don't mind playing any song?
Yeah,
now?
I mean, some songs are like just a little old or cheap. Like
Yeah.
I just don't feel like I'm not like I'm always excited to play like the brand new record. I'm always excited. That's what a DJ does. We like break
Yeah,
new records.
show-
It
yeah,
feels good.
yeah,
It kind of. Sometimes I'm like, damn, my fans still want to hear like this song, and I'm like, it's okay.
I
Throw it in there,
kind of,
like,
I was always kind of the school of thought, like, what's your hit? Like, I think Eminem went through that where he didn't want to do Slim Shady, and I think
Yeah.
Avril Lavigne had Skater Boy. I'm sure everyone's had a ton.
I mean, Stones, bro, they're still like 80, and they're still doing like fucking
Yeah,
start
man,
me
it's-
up. It's like
yeah.
every night, like with the same energy. That's like,
Okay. They're telling us we got to wrap up.
Oh,
Before
I'm
we
sorry.
do, I got to ask you. Do you remember the rivalry you had with Frankie Borelli, Dave's cameraman? It was you guys were at the Sports Illustrated party.
okay,
And he like tried to follow you into a VIP section.
Okay, yeah.
And you were like, "Who the fuck are you?" And then the guys here baited him into posting a Instagram saying like "fuck you Diplo," and you posted something back. Does any of this ring a bell?
I do remember that moment because I remember that was like another thing happened at that Sports Illustrated party. But I don't remember what the beef was.
Apparently, there really was none. But apparently, he had a stack of Dave's cash, and he put it up to his ear and said something like, talking shit to you. and then you posted your own Instagram and didn't mention him, but you had 2 stacks of cash.
Oh, that's good. That's good. That party was nuts though because it was all Sports Illustrated models. Like it was in like Arizona, I think, or Phoenix.
Yeah.
And I was like behind me was this one model. I'm not gonna remember her name, but she's like had all this MDMA, and she just gave it to every model. And so it was just all the models. It was like all like the big models from that episode.
That's why you remember it.
They're all like just so. I was like, why is everybody like having so much fun here? Like, it was like usually those parties are not that cool. And the models like, I don't want to be here. I got stuff to do. I got a kid to go to. And they were like all like in sync, like dancing and sweat. Everybody was sweaty.
Yeah.
I was like, we need more of this. The party needs to keep going.
I'm changing my answer from
You gotta
Jay
go.
Six.
Okay. All right. They're telling me you gotta go.
Love you guys.
No, you're okay.
All right, big thanks for watching. If you made it through this whole episode, that means you should be subscribed. There's so many of you out there who watch and don't subscribe, so make sure you are a KFC Radio subscriber. Make sure you get all the content when it drops. Click that button now.
I have 9 fingers. I'm still subscribed. It's that easy.